All right, so Maya, you sent this video out yesterday. Will Smith apologizing again?
The first time, really?
Didn't he? I
felt like it was the first time.
Anyway, so we wanted to react to it. So let's do that. Let's try it. How about that? Everything's new here. You know, we're just working on it. All right, so let's.
Mm-hmm. Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did, and you know, that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and you know, I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. You know, we had a great relationship. You know, Tony Rock was my man. And this is probably irreparable. I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances and the complexities of what happened in that moment. And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, but I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. There's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults. After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, you know, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, babe. I'm gonna say sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us. To all my fellow nominees, you know, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me, and it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment. I can still see Questlove's eyes. You know, it happened on Questlove's award, and you know, it's like I'm sorry really isn't sufficient. What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down? So there's two things. One, disappointing people is my central trauma. I hate when I let people down. So it hurts it hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me. And the work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself, right? I'm human, and I made a mistake, and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit. So I would say to those people, I know it was confusing. I know it was shocking. But I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And, you know, if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
All right, so that was the entire apology. What did you guys think?
I tip my hat to him for doing it in the first place, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I'm not gonna say everybody, but some people would just stay quiet and be like, try to let it pass, let it ride, you know, and took a lot of, because he's not placing the blame on anybody else. A lot of people blame Jada for, you see how she looked at him, and that's why he did that, and dealing with a wife like that, this, that, and the third, and he could have rolled with that. I think that it's mighty big of him to be like, no, it's not on her, that's not on anybody else. These are my actions, I'm taking, responsibility for it, and so, big ups to him.
Yeah, I think he said one of his biggest traumas is the fear of letting people down. I think that speaks volumes in regards to everything that happened. I can kind of relate to him, to be honest with you, in the sense of just reacting out of a place of, man, I just let you down, so I'm going to react in a certain way. And so I feel for him, but kudos to him. He apologized. He didn't, what I'm saying, not making up excuses. I think like the worst apologies that I personally hate to listen to is, hey, I'm sorry for this, but you know what I'm saying? And it's like, look, at times we just want to hear I'm sorry. That's it. Like and so, man, I would hope that that Chris would meet with him. He wants to talk to him. I would hope that that would be beautiful. Like if they were to mend, I'm not saying they're gonna be buddies, but if they were to just have a conversation and show the world like that, like sometimes, you know what I'm saying, something bad can happen, but you can make something out of that can be greater than what just happened. And so, yeah, I pray that they're able to figure things out. It'd just be great for the community and everybody who looks up to them.
How long ago was the Oscars?
4 months.
I would have come out with something more immediate, right? If you've ever been in a fight and the moment the cops are called, the moment the handcuffs come out, or the moment someone pulls you off of somebody, you got that sense right there that this probably shouldn't have gone this far, right? You get that sense, especially when you hear, sirens or cops are being called. And so, to me, I think he missed the perfect moment. The perfect moment would have been during his acceptance speech. Like, hey,
he was in the fog.
That's what you just said.
Okay. I mean, but your legs work to get you up to the stage to get to that acceptance speech, and he wasn't in the fog at the after party.
What he means by fog is he was still mad at that point.
Yeah, but they had already threatened to call the police on him. They had already done so many different things to let him know that was not going to be, wasn't the best situation.
You could tell he was still mad, though. Because in his speech, he was still kind of taking shots a little bit. Like, well, you have to stand up for your family, like Richard did. Yeah, he was still.
I was going to ask, was he mad at the situation?
I hear you, though. Like,
but Richard and it was so like, long.
Because it's really,
Yeah, it was 4 months ago. And he went to rehab, right? He checked himself into rehab?
No, India.
He went to India with a guru.
Okay, it's the same as rehab in my opinion. But there was that moment of, and there's two sides that I look at this, right? Chris Rock has said he's made a lot of money off of this. He's made a lot of money off of this. His sales went he went from 7 million to like 37 million in one show over a weekend. Like he was really excited about the type of money he was making. So that might be another reason why.
Eric.
Huh?
You're starting to sound like Eric.
That might be another. No, he said that.
No, I'm just saying it sounds like you're going to borderline like.
No, I'm saying
setup and this is.
No. I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying Chris Rock.
Look at you passing off your conspiracy.
I'm saying
to
Chris
Eric.
Rock.
That's you.
Maybe
brother.
taking his time.
I saw him get slapped. I was like, that man got slapped. Eric was on the call like, that didn't happen. That was
Eric. That was funny. But no, what I'm saying is that the time for it, the better time would have been the immediate time. I do hope that Chris Rock will sit down with him at some point or at least have the conversation. But there's a bunch of embarrassment on Chris Rock's side.
Well, okay, here's my question. He said, I reached out to Chris. He said he's not ready to talk about it yet.
Yeah.
So why are we hearing you? Wouldn't you be still mad if I said I'm not ready to talk to you about this and then you go make this video and talk to everybody else about it?
He was the one that needed to apologize, though. I mean, not just to Chris, but to, like, everybody.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of stuff that went wrong in that moment caused by him.
Are you sure that it's not because he lost some movie opportunities?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I think that has and will happen regardless. I think, honestly, and he did post initially some apologies or what have you. They probably weren't to this extent or what have you, and I'm sure a lot of that was damage control too. But I think at the same time, I personally, I was praying he didn't try to do anything to take his life, quite honestly, because there was a lot coming at him in that moment immediate moment. And I know, like you were saying, that the whole acceptance piece and letting people down is a central trauma for him. Like, he really cares about what people think about him. So for people to be calling him all kind of stuff, making him donkey of the day, all kind of stuff was coming at him right after. Like, I was praying he wouldn't try to do anything to hurt himself.
Here's the thing.
That's not a good sign.
It's not. It's really not.
BTS and ATS. Before the slap and after the slap.
Like,
Okay.
That's
All right, so before the slap, Will Smith is everybody loves Will. You know what I mean? After the slap, everybody's not liking him. When I heard the apology, I was conflicted because the thing that caught me the most wasn't even like the apologies. When he asked that question about Jada, that made me think then. I'm like, then why did you slap him then? What was the point of you getting on stage and slapping him?
Jada gave him the roll of the eyes. There was a communication there.
There
wasn't verbal,
was.
but there was communication.
Because he was talking about, we had a beef. What beef?
He should have. I should have been responsible for writing the questions. I would have been like, "Why did you laugh first then?"
Yeah.
It seemed like he was taking social media questions, though.
It doesn't
You
make,
picking the ones that he wanted to answer.
But it doesn't make sense. So Jada didn't do anything. So I laugh at the joke, but then I just get up and slap
It's
you.
clear.
Just slap.
It's a husband thing. It's, oh snap! I shouldn't have laughed at that. I'm in trouble. Let me fix it.
Yeah.
Why did he laugh, though?
Because it was funny.
It was hilarious.
Why did he laugh, though?
Because it was funny.
If my wife is going through something and somebody makes a joke, I'm not
But I
laughing.
can imagine you and everybody else in this room being like,
I can laugh at that joke, but not when it's directed at my wife.
But
he knows that she's sensitive about this Lapisha thing, right?
Alopecia.
That's a name, isn't it?
Lapisha from around the way.
I love Pisha. Yeah.
But if it hits you and it's supposed to be like a good-natured environment, you're supposed to laugh at yourself. They laughed at something else about them earlier.
Yeah.
That was harsh.
Your initial reaction is, and then you realize, snap! I'm not supposed to laugh at that.
G.I. Jane can't wait for
It was a
Jada.
That's a
can't wait
corny
for G.I.
joke,
Jane.
It was just
y'all.
a corny like.
Can't wait for G.I. Jane too.
Gotcha. That's all it needed. You could even send a message with. You know what I mean? Like, I see.
But what I'm saying is, it didn't make sense when you say that. Because to me, I'm like, if you're saying we had beef, I'm like, okay, maybe I was thinking over that. But like the years ago when the Oscar thing, they had a thing about there was boycotting and he did something there. But then I'm like, didn't they do some Madagascars prior to that? Because they on like.
But you're not with them when you do that.
No, but what I'm saying is you've seen him at premieres, you've seen him at different things. You know his brother, like you know, y'all know each other. It's not like, so it's like, what beef are you talking about?
One
Just
thing-
be real and say, my wife looked at me and it was go time.
He didn't want to.
He don't want to put her
Yeah,
under because,
that's what
and this is what it is. They're feeling the pressure of Hollywood. Honestly,
Yeah.
he's feeling it, and then they're looking at her like you're the cause of this, so she's feeling
She's not
it
the
too.
cause of it. It's just that he messed up by laughing, and then he had to overcompensate for laughing. That's it.
Yeah,
This is simple.
but he laughed and then looked at her, and she
And
looked.
oops, I messed up. I
Yeah,
shouldn't have
so
laughed.
that's what I'm saying.
She was mad at. I don't even think she was mad at the joke. I think she was mad at him.
She was mad at the joke.
She was mad at him for cackling at that joke. It's like that was the look. Like, oh, okay, we laughing.
All I know
Did
is
she smile or laugh at the joke herself? Like a little, oh, she not at all? Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
And
she
that's
rolled
what,
her eyes.
That's what he missed.
She rolled her eyes, and if anybody knows,
But
when
the eye roll landed on him.
yeah, like she rolled her eyes, and when she did that, you could tell he was like, and then went up. You know what I'm saying?
I wish the camera would have stayed on him for the entire roll because it cut away, and then all you see is him walking up.
Yeah.
So that roll ended like
Yeah. So I just think at the end of the day,
we already not good. You know
At
what
the
I
end
mean?
of the day, you could forgive Will
That was the
Smith.
other thing I was gonna say. They
Yeah.
weren't, you know what I'm saying?
Something ain't right.
Yeah, and I think, and like we talked about earlier, it was some other jokes that was said that was terrible about their marriage. Like people were saying crazy stuff
But I
about
think,
their
but
marriage.
I think from this, clearly it hurt more coming from him. Cause like, dude, we know you. We've had problems with you before, and you keep doing this. Stop. I think that was clear that their relationship was in a bad spot between Chris Rock and Will and Jada, with the whole Oscar so white thing. I think they were already tight. So it was like, dude, again, you gonna do this? You made fun of her last time. You doing it again in front of us? No, not gonna happen. I told you not to, and you did it anyway.
But how
That's
do you
what it
know
seemed like was happening.
But you're saying that he feels that a call was made or whatever.
There must have been a like, hey, I saw what you said. Don't say that again. Don't make fun of us again for that. And then he did it again in front of him. So it was like, oh, you going to disrespect us right in our face type thing? And I think what made it worse is that he laughed first. So it was like, she was on that, oh, we doing this again type vibe, and he was on the just laugh it off vibe.
Yeah.
And then he realized, oh, snap, it's not that vibe. I got to fix it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that was the issue is he didn't catch the vibe of his wife, and then when he caught it, it was too late. So he had to overcompensate.
He had to overcompensate, and he knows he's gonna get home to his wife.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be
He'd
like,
be like, oh, that's funny.
you thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And it's like,
He still had to deal with that. So
I
it didn't even help. It made it worse.
So what would have been, I guess,
What should he have done?
Yeah, Maya, I guess as a woman, what are your thoughts on what would you have wanted him to do?
I mean, you can handle that stuff backstage. Now, if we gully, like if we really thugging it out, first of all, you can handle it backstage, or you can pay people to handle it for you. That's what. But we're saved. But we're saved. So since we're saved, then we have the conversation offline. You know, we laugh it up, or like you were doing earlier, Sean, the point finger, like I got you, I see you, and we have a conversation, offline. But
how do you know that happened though? I know the Oscar so right thing happened, but how do you know that conversation between Chris Rock and Will Smith?
The reaction made it you could tell even in this apology, he's still mad at Chris. He just knows that he has to apologize because he was an idiot. Like he totally messed up. I think if the reaction to this wasn't so bad, or he didn't do something as bad, like let's say he walked up and pretended to slap him, or just motioned at him and then walked back and it was ha 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 ha, and he didn't yell. It was just I'm showing you I ain't playing with you type move. I don't think he would apologize at all. I think he's apologizing because it came back on him really hard.
Yeah.
He can't go to the Oscars anymore. He's losing movie opportunities. I don't think he actually. I'm not saying he doesn't feel sorry for what he did, but I think he's still angry at him.
He don't.
I still think they're not good.
Yeah, well, because now Chris Rock is on stage saying stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Tony Rock is saying stuff.
Oh, Tony Rock.
I think that's what
a lot of comedians are saying stuff.
I think that's what hurts him, because it sounds like from this that he actually did have a relationship with his brother.
he did.
With
I mean,
Tony
if
Rock.
you
They was
think
on their
about
show
it,
together,
the
yeah.
All of Us was that he produced.
So I think that's what hurts him.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
man? I'm never gonna have that relationship again with his
Yeah.
brother because he has to stand up.
But
for
I
it.
mean, as a brother, you would be if something happened
Yeah,
to
you had
Andrew
to.
like that, you would be mad. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If I got on stage and smack Andrew, you gonna be like, Jeremiah, it's on his site when I see you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know me, but I mean, like, he said something about mine, I got on stage and slapped, and you'd be like, yo, bro,
Yeah.
what is that about?
I think, and this is what I see in awards, and I don't know what you guys think. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? We have the mind of Christ. We think different. But that whole joking on stage with people, it's like.
If you're going through a disease, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's like, man, like that's uncalled for. And I don't know what you guys think.
Oh, he said he didn't know.
He said he didn't know about that.
Yeah, because I think if he's telling the truth about not knowing, Jada cutting her hair is not abnormal. Like, that's
Right.
it seems like it's not like her head looks bad. So it's like he may have just thought that was a choice. You know what I mean? So
That's I mean, we don't know how true that is, right? But I'm saying like the whole joking. I just think, man, they need to cut that out, man. In these awards, I know it's fun for all of us because we're like, oh man, they're going at each other, but you know, things. Look, you just saw what happened, right? And I wonder, even in the Christian content, what do y'all think about that? Like, what do y'all think about joking?
roasting, you mean?
Yeah,
Roasting.
Roasting.
It's like, is that even?
That's a different. It's a difference than just
Roasting.
joking and roasting
There was
somebody.
on the way here. We looked up, you know, the verse. I think it's Ephesians 5:4. It says like no coarse joking and unfilthiness talking. We did a little bit of research, and it was more
explicit.
It was more about explicit things. But it's like is that even smart to go down that route? You know, because somebody might not like it. You know what I'm saying? Even in the Christian realm.
Yeah,
and so
I see what you mean. But I'll say this: comedy is a little bit different. If you go to a comedy, I've been to like Christian comedy, and Christian comedians they may they do crowd work sometimes, and what crowd work is basically is they may ask you a question and y'all go back and forth, or you have a question you may ask you, how long y'all been married? And then they take something out of that and make a joke out of it on a spot, right?
that's all like live.
Yeah, like
stand-up comedy.
Yeah, stand-up comedy. Like so.
Sketch comedy.
No, not sketch comedy. Like stand-up comedy.
Like D.L. Hewley style.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Crowd work, basically. That's what they call it. So I think at the same time, it's like if I know somebody's in the crowd and they're going through something and I purposely do that, then that's vicious.
Right.
But if I don't know you and I ask you a question and you go like how long y'all been married, and you got to think, I'm like, oh, everybody start laughing like you taking too long for thinking, like you should know how long you've been married. So I think there's certain things where it's like
there's levels.
It's levels.
Don't you think also it's a responsibility? You know what you're coming to. You sitting in the front row at the Oscars.
Yeah.
It would have been worse if it was Ricky Gervais. He wouldn't even have cared what he said.
Yeah.
He would have said way worse than
Dude,
that.
I've seen people do crowd work. Comedians do it towards other celebrities, and it'd be like bad, like really bad, like to a point you're like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? So
it's only funny to everyone else.
Ricky was bad though.
Ricky's was intense. It wasn't even. I don't even know if he was joking.
Epstein jokes, those are bad.
It was like damaging. I think you can get away with it. There's a way to joke in a good-natured kind of way, where you know that person enough to know that they're not going to get offended by it. But in these in the Oscar sense, it's like a roast, but it's like a roast without permission. When you go to a roast, the person there knows they're getting roasted. The people on the panel know they're getting roasted. Even the audience is prepared to get roasted.
Right.
The Oscars is like a semi-roast where you kind of know that's going to happen, but you're not really agreeing to get roasted. So it's a weird environment. I just think that their problem was an interpersonal problem. They already had a problem. It wasn't like the joke itself made Will mad. They already were tight from the Oscar So White stuff. It was obvious.
But even that part, like even Oscar So White, like you would think if somebody make a big uproar about like we're gonna boycott the Oscars, we're gonna do this, and you know it's like, well, you boycott the Oscars because your man didn't get the nomination. I'm gonna go at that. You know what I'm saying? Like because you know it's not because Black people is not getting all these awards. You're boycotting because you didn't get the award that you thought you should got at that movie that you did.
It may not even be that deep. It may just be, man, this is a big gig for me, man. Can y'all chill?
Yeah, yeah, that too.
Like,
that
would
too.
you want me to quit this? Like, this is hard to get.
Yeah,
you know?
that too. So it's just, I think it's just a lot. And going back to what you asked, I do think it's time and place for joking and stuff like that. But when you're going to like a comedy show or if you're going to like a live performance where there's a host that's a comedian, I think that's what they're paying that comedian to do is to hit the crowd up. You know what I mean?
Point,
yeah, that's the point. So it's not like they're doing that on purpose. That's just doing their job.
Yeah, Damo mentioned Steph Curry did it at the ESPYs. It's just an expected thing. Yeah, so it really just depends on how good is the comedian. Do they have a heart? Because some people don't have a heart and they do not care what you think. So sometimes it's funnier that way. The Ricky Gervais one was only funny because he did not care at all about what they thought, and he was exposing things that a lot of people feel should be exposed.
Yeah.
And the joke should be at their expense because they've been hiding pedophiles and rapists and such and such. So who cares what you think? You know,
and don't come up here and say about God. Keep your God to yourself.
Yeah.
He was like basically. I mean, I know he's an atheist, but he was saying that because it's a contradiction. You saying all
you're
that,
doing all this nonsense, and
you want to thank God.
So it really depends. I just say if you're worried, don't go. You can't go.
Yeah, real. I mean, that's it.
Or what they're gonna do is just stop having. They're gonna have the person just a teleprompter, or like not MC Light, but what she does, the announcer just announce people when they come up. But I think the thing probably is this, like, and I'm not trying to blame Regina Hall, but what she said about their marriage
is worse. But they don't have a problem with her,
and that's what it is.
That's the problem.
But I think at the same time, it's like, so my marriage is my wife's hair, and like for somebody who don't know, my wife's hairstyle is more important than our marriage. That's what to me it sounded like. Because I would be mad if somebody is saying we trying to get our marriage together and you clowning my marriage about I can go up there and just have sex with her too.
Yeah,
like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like nah, we ain't on that page.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like you said, like it's I'm cool with her, so I can let them just say any other thing because I'm cool with them. It's almost like that dude and y'all cracking jokes and somebody make a joke and you're like, you ain't supposed to be laughing at that, but everybody, you can joke on everybody
you
else.
go at him.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like it was, man. So.
Yeah,
crazy. Context helps though.
Yeah, it does.
All right, so let's do this. Let's take a break. You in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.